Go. Welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I have got an absolute guest and a half for you today. Listen to this introduction. Do you know anyone that's worked with Sir Elton John or Elon Musk, sent people down to see the wrecks of the Titanic on the seabed, or close museums in Florence for a private dinner party and then have Andrea Bocelli serenade them while they eat their pasta? You do now. Quoted, "The Real Life Wizard of Oz" by Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine. I look forward to ripping into that. Steve Sims is a best-selling author with Blue Fishing, The Art of Making Things Happen, and Go for Stupid, The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. I love the names of your books, by the way. Sought-after coach, top-rated speaker after keynoting a variety of networks, groups, and associations, as well as the Pentagon and Harvard twice. Steve is also the host of the Art of Making Things Happen podcast, as well as a co-founder with his son, Henry, of a leading branding agency, Sims Media. Steve Sims, thank you for joining me today, my man.
It's more than a pleasure, buddy. Thanks. We were having a chat just before this, so I know this is going to be fun.
Epic. We had to take a little drink break to go top up a drink.
We did. Cheers to you all.
Cheers. Cheers. I haven't got quite that beverage, but I got a drink here. So, mate, Steve, I've known you for all of 4.5 minutes right now. So, but your energy is really contagious. I was just watching some of your content. I was doing my little research before my podcast, and your energy seems awesome. Your achievements, what you've done, and there's a rainbow of highlights in your life. But I want to hear your story. So if you could just take us back to the start, or however you want to take it, and yeah, just share your story for people that don't know who you are.
It's dull as fuck. It's the exact same as absolutely everybody listening to this podcast. Started off poor and wanting to make money, because no one wants to be poor. You know, there's no way in the world you can romanticize it. You know, oh, money doesn't make you happy. Sure, shit helps. The bottom line of it is, I grew up in a construction firm, and I just couldn't understand why other people were driving around in new cars and I was driving around in a shitty truck, while everyone else was flying around the planet and I couldn't go anywhere. So I went out to have those conversations, and I failed. I tried jobs that I learned I was ill qualified to do, but I tried to find out the answer to my question. Along the way, I ended up working as a doorman in Hong Kong at a very reputable club called Neptune's. And if anyone's ever heard of Neptune's in Wan Chai, then you're a deviant, and I was probably kicking you out at one stage.
Epic.
And I was a doorman of it. And the thing about entrepreneurs is we've got a third eye of opportunity. We see things differently. We act differently. And while my fellow meatheads was just trying to get through the night without too many punches, too much blood on their shirt, and going home with the latest hotty toddy, I was looking at this as a MBA in human psychology. I was actually able to see how people were interacting. You know, like when you've got the guy that makes out he's got money, he's got his sleeve rolled up to show off his watch that he's spanked his credit card for, and he wants it to be very obvious that he's got this overpriced watch.
Yeah.
Yet the guy with money looks like a bum, you know, probably doesn't even wear a watch. And I noticed the difference on how people acted. And from there, I wanted those conversations. Now, in order to have that conversation, I needed to be an asset. So I started getting people into restaurants, clubs, bars, and it just went further. And I ended up, as you might embarrassingly stated, being named the Real Life Wizard of Oz by Entrepreneur and Forbes magazine, because by this stage, I was working with billionaires, getting them a piano lesson with Elton John, a drum lesson with Guns N' Roses, closing down museums. I had a couple wanted to get married in the Vatican by the Pope. I became the Make-A-Wish Foundation for billionaires with really big checkbooks.
Mate, yeah, what a story. There's so many I want to dive into. How did you start to have those conversations? Let's just start there. It's something, my background, I know you don't know me very well, Steve, but I've come from a socially anxious background. So having conversations with people shit my pants. I would be that loner at a party. I wouldn't go to parties, first of all. And I would just manage, I guess, confidence to go up and just start the conversation. That seems like, I don't know, was that there for you at all? Or what's going through your mind to be able to just go up and have those conversations and just, well, it's probably goes into your book, The Art of Making Things Happen. How do you do that?
So for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm an introvert. And for anyone that watches any of my social, me speaking, like I've just finished speaking in London, Florence, and Venice, Italy. I've got one in New York next week. I'm travel the planet, getting paid a lot of money to speak. So for anyone looking at this going, that dude's not an introvert. I love motorcycles, old fashions, my wife, and dogs. And nowhere in there is people. Because they annoy me.
Yeah.
I also don't like, and you said about going up to someone and striking a conversation. I can't do that. My idea of hell is a networking party.
Same here.
Yeah.
So
And
how do you do it?
I don't. What I do is people go to a networking party to make connections. If I have been forced there because you pulled the hair in my testes to be there, then I'm there to strike up a conversation with one person. And this is how I do it. And like, for anyone that can't see me on this, I don't look like Brad Pitt. There is a reason that I wear a black t-shirt. I roll around on motorcycles. I've got tattoos, piercings. I want you to fuck off. I want you to stay away from me. And the reason is because those people that will come to me and go, what are you doing here? They are not, they're not worried about this look. They're not worried about me growling at them as they get closer. They're curious. And those are the people I want to speak to. I love to speak to aggravated, curious people. So I have this entire bravado. I got a pit bull dog. I won't tell you where I live because this will give it away. If you see him from one side of the gate, he's going to make you shit your pants and you'll go nowhere. You walk through that gate and you better be rubbing that girl's tummy. Nothing else is going to happen, but it's going to lay in his back and be a waste of time.
Yeah.
So, but the bravado is going to keep you away. That's me. All right. I don't want trouble. I don't want conversations. I want you to stay away with this kind of, oh, what do you do? If someone asks me that, you're not the person I want to be dealing with. But here's where we got it wrong. When you're going up to someone to strike up a conversation, you're already on a losing foot. When I go to an event, I'm like a military tool. I'll go in there and I'll see you and I'll be like, that's that Lewis guy. I want to have a conversation. And this is all you have to do. Step out of the room, get your phone, which bearing in mind, has got more data and technology on it than NASA had in the 90s. Google your ass, come up with a couple of little fun facts. Lewis has kids. Lewis, came from, he's socially awkward because I heard it on a podcast. He did this, he did that. Learn a couple of fun facts and then walk up and go, hey, Lewis, I see you have a podcast. I hear it's a really good podcast. I have a circle. Would it be a benefit me to introduce your podcast to my people? That's an asset. I've literally just given you a gift. You're not going to look at me and go, no, piss off. You're going to be like, hang on a minute. This guy's come up to me. He hasn't asked me for anything. In fact, he's given me an opportunity to expand my reach. So everybody I've ever walked up to, the easiest way to stop you looking at me is to make it all about you. I get nervous, but I will walk up to Elton John and go, hey, I hear you're going on this. Could I help do this for you? Or I see you're working on this. Could I help? I will make myself an asset to you really, really quickly. So all of a sudden, you don't look at me. You don't look at this big biker and go, I don't want to. You look at me as a golden goose that's giving you golden eggs. And that's how you get rid of your nerves. Show up as an asset, not as a curiosity.
Yeah. Mate, I'm thinking for people that are listening to that, they're like, oh, that sounds awesome. I've got no assets. How can I add value to someone? Was there something that you started with, or what would you recommend to people that may not have heaps of networks or heaps of opportunities? But they want to do what you're doing. I love the strategy and the mindset around it. What would you say to someone who might not have the quote networks or assets that they think they might not have? What could they use to I guess achieve the same thing?
If they get up in the morning and they're breathing and walking, then you're an asset. Okay. You've just got to find out some way to do it. If you're trying to get hold of a millionaire and you can't do it, just go up and say, hey, I want to have a 10-minute conversation, but I'm really good at gardening. I look at your lawn and it's shit. Can I clean your lawn and we'll have a 10-minute conversation afterwards? It doesn't matter what it is. I remember when I grew up and I was a doorman, I went up to these guys and they used to go to water parties. This was 4 good-looking guys that were always at social events. And they said to me, hey, Steve, are you going to the yacht party tonight? Now, I was in Hong Kong at the time, and I was working in this Neptune's nightclub. And I said, what yacht party is that? And now anyone that knows Hong Kong knows that there's freaking thousands. You know, the thing's a small island. There's loads of harbors. And I went, I don't know which one you're talking about. And they told me. And I went down there. And I literally walked up to the girl, long story short, and I went, hey, I got 4 guys coming here tonight. Just wanted to know, as the party starts at 9, do you want them here at 8:30 or would you like them at 10 when the line calms down? I didn't go, hey, how do I get my people in here? I didn't go, hey, they're not on the list. How do I make it happen? I showed up as some solution for that bottleneck. Do you want them earlier and to wait in line, or do you want them later when the line's gone down? And she was like, oh, I was thinking of her. Now, here's the funny thing. When I went back to the bar to tell the boys that I'd managed to get them into the party, they were like, oh, great. And I realized they hadn't even asked. I've written about that in my latest book, Go for Stupid. You see, here's the dumb thing. People don't ask. They don't. They're terrified. Because they're terrified. Here's, you're going to get me on my freaking soapbox now.
Let's go.
Today, we feel as though we've been lied to. Today, we've been shut in our house for 2 years. COVID, injections, vaccinations. I'm not taking the vaccine. It's populating my body with tracking devices. Your house ain't that interesting, mate. No one gives a fuck. They're trying to make everyone better, but we're also being manipulated, massaged, and lied to. So today, we don't trust anyone. So today, we don't even trust what we believe, what we see with our eyes. How many times do you watch a movie and the building's falling up? We become desensitized. You'll see a person's head blow up and you'll go, oh, that's great special effects.
Yeah.
We're not blown away by it anymore. We become desensitized. So today, we don't trust what we see. We don't trust what we hear. We don't trust what we feel. But we do know if we say something silly, we're going to be laughed at. We're going to be mocked. We are today in a cancel culture, in a period of time where relationships should be the one thing we're focusing on. How many people do you know are scared of ChatGPT? They're scared of AI. They think that Terminator and iRobot is coming. Yes, it is, but you can do something about it. You could be on the flip side of that because relationships cannot be replaced. So in a world today where we should be doing what me and you are doing, which is conversing and having a conversation, we're actually terrified to do it. So we don't ask things that we want. We also don't ask things of ourselves. We don't ask for better standards. We don't ask for better friends. We don't ask for dafter goals. If you don't have a stupid goal that people will laugh at, it ain't a goal you should go for. Because all the people you admire, Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Elon Musk, Larry Page, any of the people that you admire today, they don't care about people laughing at them. Steve Jobs never cared at people laughing at him because he always wore a black polo neck. Do you think Elon Musk gives a fuck about you laughing at him because he bought Twitter for billions of dollars? Oh, he's an idiot. You really think so? The bottom line of it is these people don't care about the poor people jeering. And yes, I said poor people because poor people love to sit on their couch with their hand down their pants and a pint of beer going, oh, that guy's an idiot. Do you think he cares about your thoughts? Poor people are noisy. But the trouble is 80% of the planet work for 20%. Are you the 80 or are you the 20?
Mate, what would you say to those people who are in the 80%? And they're playing, I would use the word victim. I would use the word cynical, excuse maker, having their own pity party and just playing the blame game. What would you say to those people that are just, they say they want a better life? Because most people I know say they want better, more money, more sex, more freedom, more happiness, whatever. but yet their actions are what you just said. They're on the couch smashing beer, making fucking excuses, blaming other people, bringing down other people for being successful. I'm not sure you might have saw this in Australia a couple of days ago. A guy in Melbourne, he like lifted his new car up into his penthouse. Like the penthouse was 39 million, the car was 3 million, and it was all over the news. And you just see people attacking him like, people are the economy's, there's people struggling, there's homeless people, why the fuck are you blowing your money and flexing whatever? It's like, mate, he's done well, why can't he like applaud success? So what would you say to those people that say they want, but yet they're actually acting like the 80%?
Nothing. Do you think any of those pricks are listening to your podcast?
That's true.
No, the bottom line of it is those people that want to play victim have already turned off. They've already gone away, okay? They're looking for the next person to have a look at. That guy that actually puts money up in, got his car up into his penthouse, how much tax is he paying? Therefore, how much is he paying to your community for your roads? Your homeless ass on the corner, or you bitching about, I can't get anywhere. He's paying for your fucking medical. He's paying for your roads. He's keeping your street lights on. He's paying for your police force. You don't know how much that guy donates to charity.
Yeah.
You have no idea. You've already condemned him as a loser. The people that are listening to your podcast have gone, hey, I'm not happy where I am. Great. But I'm going to do something about it. Even better. You see, there's an old saying, aggravated oysters make pearls. I don't care where you are. That's not the finale. That's the igniter. If you're not happy with your finances, your relationship, your job, where you currently feel as though your future's going, you're on this podcast to change it. And I'm telling you, as a guy that got kicked out of school at the age of 15, that has lectured at Harvard twice, it didn't get me there because I paid. I didn't get there because, hey, I'm devilishly good looking. I got there because don't laugh at that. There are some people.
I'm applauding that.
The point is, I got there because I put myself there. You have the chance to play victim. If you want to do that, lay down, turn off, fuck off. Or you can do something about it. And guess what? When you want to do something about it, people will help you. I have people reach out. I'll tell you about my cousin because he's a prick. I used to go along to my family every Christmas, and I'd see my cousin. And every year I'm getting bigger and better and more finances, making connections, hanging out with people. And every year he'd be like, oh yeah, you're doing your bit. And he would he would kind of condemn it that I'm doing this shit. And I was like, bully for you, mate. And I'd fly over to London from LA and I'd be like at my family's party. And he would always kind of talk down to me. Now, I knew that was his insecurity. I knew that was his embarrassment because he was still doing, and I won't tell you, he was still doing the shit he was doing for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then one day he came to me and he went, Steve, I need your help. And I went, boy, you've got it. You know, if you want help, it starts with an ask. You've got it. This is what you do. Take down this link. Go on there, book 3 sessions with me. And I'm going to bring my team on. And we're going to work through what your idea is, what's getting in the way of it, how to get those hurdles out. And we did that for 4 months. Okay? Twice a month, went through what he was looking at, what he was building, how he was positioning it, how to get the finance. We went through the whole, I brought in my team. I brought in friends of mine to help him out. And then I went, right, that's it for 4. You've got it. We've had 8 sessions. You've got everything. We're going to check back in 3 months' time and see where we are. So I reached out to him in 3 months' time and said, okay, where are we? Because the problems arise, things pop up, you know, I haven't got around to it yet. Why not? I gave you those sessions and I charge, this will show you how arrogant I am. I charge $750 for a 30-minute phone call. I charge more than my lawyer charges me, which he still moans at me about because I'm always haggling for him for a discount. I gave this guy free advice and I brought in experts which charge hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak on major stages that were there for a favor for me. 3 months after, he did nothing with it. I went back there at Christmas And I saw him. This was about 5 years ago, this example. And I said to him, all right, so you had all that. You spoke to these people. I followed up with you 3 months. Where are we? Yeah, you know, a couple of things have got in the way. And hey, I'll be back to you and we can do those calls again. I went, can we fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I charge people $28.50 a month to be part of my coaching program. I brought top drawer people in to help you. You don't get me unless you pay.
Mm.
And he turned around and went, you're going to make your cousin pay? And I went, I gave it you for free and you did fuck all with it. Maybe if you pay, you'll pay attention.
Yeah.
Following Christmas that I went back there, he had actually started telling all of his family, and that had leaked to my family about how I was trying to rip him off by charging him. You can't help people that like to wallow in their own victimization and self-pity. You can just move along. My old dad, he was a bricklayer. And I've got great respect for any kind of mastery and skill and any kind of the real skill work, the real craft. But he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. But he used to say to me, no one ever drowned by falling in the water. They drowned by staying there.
Mm.
So you can cry pity to me as much as you like, but until you get on your arms and you actually start lifting yourself out, and until that happens, I'm not going to put my hand out to help you.
Mate, there was a lot of nuggets in there. I love the water. No one, what was it? No one drowned by
No one's drowned. That was my dad. No one drowned by falling in the water. They drowned by staying there.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps. I love that. I love that. I want to get into your books. Just before we do get into your books, say someone has had a shift. They've heard your handsome voice and they're like, yep, I'm ready to go.
You're buttering me up now, aren't you? Because you laughed at me.
No, you cracked me up. This is a good podcast. And they're ready. You know what, Steve? I'm going to get my shit together. I'm doing what you're saying. I'm staying in the water. I want to get my life together. What would you recommend, maybe the first couple of steps that you maybe advise others on, or what worked well for you? So someone's had the mental shift that I'm going to fucking take charge of my life and stop being a victim, and I'm going to take action. What would the first couple of steps that you'd recommend these people to start doing?
One step, which is like any golfer gets better by focusing on the basics. Any martial artist gets good by focusing on the basics. I'm a motorcycle racer. Focus on the basics. This is the one and only thing you need to do. Pattern interrupt. Whatever you are doing, interrupt that pattern and install a new one. If, like, for argument's sake, I used to listen to American radio, okay? Then I started listening to British radio. Then what I would do, and most people listen to radios from their computers now. I've got, I don't know what the name, I think it's MyTuner is the radio station app that I use. Yep. I will scroll through it like this. Can I wheeze? Like I'm also almost going through like a slot machine, and I will stop it. And then I will listen to that radio station for 1 hour. Yep. And the other day, and this was like 11, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was listening to Norwegian EDM. And if you don't know what that is, it's electronic dance music. Okay. All right. Me, I love Pearl Jam. I love all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I'm listening to a Norwegian radio station, which is now like 1 o'clock in the morning when everyone is like sky high on something. And I'm listening to EDM for 1 hour. Now, at the end of the hour, I changed it to a different radio station. But I had challenged my brain to consume something different. Now, if any of you have ever worked out, how do you make bigger muscles? You lift things. How do you get faster? You run. How do you lift weights? You lift. You've got to push yourself to the point that you're challenging where you are. My mind was going, whoa, hang on a minute. He's doing something different. Your mind is a muscle, and you have to challenge it. I also try different food, and I never expensive food. Whenever I'm at a restaurant and there's the appetizers, I will look at the weirdest freaking thing on that list, and I'll buy it. Okay. And I will splurge out on $4 for an appetizer, which I have no idea what it is. Right. And my mind will be like, whoa, he's trying something different. Podcasts, driving home, radio stations, all of these things get your mind changing up. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have a car?
Do you have a car?
Right. Okay. So you've been in a car park or you've been in a car dealership. How many times have you walked through that dealership or that car park and all of a sudden you've seen this car and it's a weird ass color? And you're like, I have never seen that weird, sickly color of yellow in my life. Yeah. Who the hell would pick that color for a car?
Yeah.
Now, you're driving home on the freeway. What's the only color you can see? It's that color, isn't it? Yeah. Why? Because your mind has been opened up to opportunity. You've now pattern interrupted your mind to go, hey, we look at things differently now. It's like when you're in the military and you're defending yourself, your mind is prepared that that's what we do. You're on guard. When you are a mathematician solving problems, your mind is now focused, right, what's the next problem we can solve? When you're an entrepreneur, it focuses on opportunity. Podcasts, but none of this costs money. Podcasts, books, radio stations, documentaries. Do things that you didn't do last week. If you don't go for long walks at night, start doing those walks. If you eat Chinese food, pick something you've never heard of before and try it. It may be the most god-awful thing ever to enter your mouth, or you may have discovered something you really like. But more than anything, your mind will be like, right, we are open to different things now. And that's where growth comes from.
Great advice. Really great advice. I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza. And he
I love Joe.
He always talks about Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is one of his books. Just always talks about get out of those habits, those patterns that have gotten you to where you are, because you are a result of the patterns, the decisions, the thoughts, the actions that you've taken up till now. And if you don't fucking like it, change. Do something different. You do the same shit, get the same result. So
we've been chatting away for I don't know how long. I don't have a clock here. I don't care. But we've been chatting away for a long time now. Let's be serious. Anyone that is still with this podcast is aggravated enough to do something about it. Okay. You've been given ideas of what you can do. You've been taught how to be an asset. You've been taught how to challenge the way you think. You've been taught how to change the things that you're doing. Okay. But it all results in you taking that first action. And the way to make change, you first got to start with momentum. Whatever it is you're thinking, just tomorrow, different radio station. Tomorrow, different podcast. Tonight, different TV station. You don't have to like it to tell your mind that we're doing things differently.
Mate, just on that with momentum, is there things that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to keep you in momentum, keep you accountable, keep you growing, keep you what do you do? Just some tips or some practical stuff for
everything I've just told you. You know, I will drive. The other day I was driving home and I live in Los Angeles and I was driving home from Santa Monica and I always turn left and I turned right. And it took me about another 30 minutes to get home. And I went through an area I've never been before. And there were some little houses, like one of the oldest streets I can imagine in the area. And I went through this little, it was like in a time zone. And there was this tiny little hamburger diner there, which I don't know was like the 1920s or something like that. I pulled up and I had a bag of chips.
Epic.
You know, all it cost me was gas in the moment.
Yeah.
But I went, and then I came home and I said to my wife, I was like, how long we lived here? We've never been down this street, you know? And I went down this street. It was so cute. I'm constantly listening to different podcasts. I'm constantly reading different books. I always have a 2-for-1, by the way. Yeah. I read 2 business books. At the moment, I'm finishing off Alex Hormozi's book.
Epic.
But I also have just finished off one of the Lars, oh God, I forgot his last name. It's the Dragon Tattoo trilogy. And then the guy from the Dragon Tattoo guy died and then someone else took over the books. I just finished one of their books. But here's the point. I love like the Da Vinci Code, like the Dan Brown books. Yeah. I like any book where I'm trying to work out who it is.
Yeah.
Because it gets your imagination going. So I work on fact and tactics and imagination. A lot of people today, they will read all of the business books, but it doesn't ignite the imagination. Read a fantasy, read a crime novel, read a detective book. Get yourself going. Oh, is it the janitor? Get yourself thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what spurns these ideas. Anyone that you love, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Elon Musk, they dream. A skill is that they imagine. You got to imagine. You got to dream. You got to fantasize. That's where the magic happens.
Mate, what was Elon Musk like? If you can't actually, for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
So,
the Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I've got Elon Musk smoking a joint behind me, and it goes up into space. But anyways, what was he like?
So the good thing about Elon, when you first Elon Musk, I mean, any celebrity, the first thing they're thinking is, what do you want? You know, they get bombarded by millions of people. They're like, who's this guy? What does he want? And so you've got to get past that. And then when you start getting into the conversation, to get a good answer, ask a brilliant question. No celebrity in the planet wants to hear a recital of every movie they've been in or every freaking tune they've ever done. You go and, oh, your song where you sang this line, that really touched me. Good for you. But you've got to come up there and go, hey, I love the work you're doing with so-and-so. Can I ask, why did you move into that? What was the challenge you put? Hey, you've had an amazing success, but how do you keep your mindset when it goes wrong? Hey, I've got a podcast and I want to share tomorrow the conversation I'm just about to have with you. How do you handle failure? What gets you woken up in the morning excited? Ask a brilliant question that they know is going to drive impact.
What was your interaction with him? How did you guys, was it through Neptune's? Was it through the restaurant?
Yeah, through some seedy little whorehouse in Hong Kong. That's probably going to be, that's the soundbite that people are probably going to use now. No, it was through Peter Diamandis, the guy that actually founded the X Prize. Yeah. And there was this dream that Peter had. Peter's a great visionary. There was this dream that he had to get the richest people in the planet. And I'm on about, we had 40 people in the room, and I think 12 of them were in the top 50 richest families in the planet. Yeah. We had like 40 people in the room, and I think there was something like about 80 security. It was insane, the people we had there. As I say, some of the richest families in the planet. And we had the idea of bringing them and introducing them to the most amazing technology from Silicon Valley, from the spaceport out in California to Fox Studios on CGI. And one of the things that we thought would be really cool was to take them into Hawthorne to SpaceX. And so we reached out to Elon and we went, look, we've got some of the biggest impact makers in the planet that would like to come and see the impact that you're creating, to take that energy and information and knowledge and positioning back to their communities. Would that help you? Now, the one thing we want today, the one thing you want, the one thing I want is distribution of impact. How can I talk to one person and 100 people do something? Wouldn't it be, I'm going to do this. If you don't mind, my Instagram is Steve D. Sims. D for dashing, 1M in Sims. DM me with something that you did from listening to this podcast, and I'll fucking answer you. I'm challenging you. Don't listen to this and go, oh, yeah, that was good. Fucking do something and then DM me and I'll respond. I want people to be impacted. I was stunned when I released my book, Bluefishing. I got paid really well by Simon & Schuster to do it. I don't know if they regret it now, but they paid me a lot of money. And I thought to myself, no one's going to buy this. Why? Because it's easy. It's simple, basic shit that people ignore. It got me to meet the Pope, got me to hang out with Elon Musk, it got me to play piano with Elton John, but people ignore it. If I say, hey, do this and it'll make you a fortune, or do this and it'll cost you 50 grand and I'll teach you, people are going to be trying to find out how they can pay 50 grand because people ignore the basics. What I wanted when that book went out was to impact one person. I would get DMs, emails, people would reach out to me on my contact page and they would go, hey, I listened to this. I got a girl the other day Alicia. I'm going to drop her name, Alicia. And I forgot her mum's name, and I apologize. It starts with a J. She had met me at an event. We had, I don't know, 3 nanoseconds of fleeting conversations. I came off stage at this San Diego event called Secret Knock, and she got hold of my book, Go for Stupid, and she shared it with her daughter, and her daughter took it to school, middle school. She took it to school and then wrote a book report on my book.
Oh, good.
And actually stood up in class and read her book report on my book to her middle school classmates. You have to have some kind of idea of how I felt. There was a picture that she drew of me for her middle school report. I posted it up on my Instagram page. So proud that that's what that girl did for me. She drove impact. What is she going to be? She may have said something to someone in that school, changed our trajectory, made them think differently, made them do differently. What you have said on this podcast may take someone from a city sweeper. My God, we love city sweepers. People have to keep things clean. So thank you very much. From city sweeper to the president of that company.
Mm.
What we say can help people change their trajectory. And I love hearing about that. And distribution of that message is the only thing I'm after. I don't have hair products. I don't have anything to sell you. I want you to change, and I want you to let me know you did it.
Mate, one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten personally from this podcast is be so creative and resourceful when you're going to meet someone, or even if you already know someone, and bring them opportunities that's a joint win for everyone. And it just allows you to build relationships, maximize growth, maximize impact. And your ability to do that is fucking outstanding. So I've got to,
I don't know how long, tell me to shut up whenever you like, but if you've got a moment, I'd love to tell you a story.
Please, fire away.
So I leave nothing to chance. And I wanted to get hold of this guy. And so I Googled him and I cyber stalked him, and I found he was part of this charity, and he was going to be at this gala because he was speaking at this gala. So I knew he was going to be there. So I bought a ticket and I went to this gala, and I'm at this event, and he is a big Silicon Valley venture capitalist. And I knew he was involved in a project. So I got my team to come up with the 3 things that would fuck this project up. Now, we came up with 2 pretty easy. Couldn't come up with a 3rd. Now, here's the weird thing. People love 3s and 5s. If I tell you the 2-step way to get thinner, you won't buy it. If I give you the 3-step course or the 5-step course, you'll buy that shit. You won't buy the 2, you won't buy the 4, but you'll buy the 3 and 5. Don't ask me why. Sure, there's a psychologist out there that'll explain why 3, 5s, and 7s are so good. But we needed 3 things. The 3rd thing we came up with was the color of his logo, and how in a foreign country it was an offensive color. My God, I don't know which one of our crew came up with that. Yeah. So I get to the party, I'm drinking my old fashions. I'm waiting to go and talk to this guy. People are freaking like swarming over him like flies on shit. And I was waiting. And all of a sudden they parted. And I thought, now's my time. And I started to walk towards him. Now, I'm 245 pounds of ugly. I'm coming at you. You know about it. Got my old fashioned in my hand. My eyes are locked on you. I'm coming in for a conversation. He's got a bunch of Looney Tunes around him, some little hangers on and floaters. And I walked up to him and said, hey, how you doing? Now listen to this. I went, hey, how you doing? My name's Steve Sims. You don't know me. It calms them down, because as I'm coming at you, you're thinking, do I know this guy? Is he a fan? Have I met him somewhere? Yeah, all of this is going through your head, and it's getting you stressed out. Yeah. So I come up to you and I go, hey, my name's Steve. You don't know me. But then the next thing, he's like, okay, we've got over that. But what do you want? That's his next thought. So you go, but I know you're working on this project, and we used it as a case study in my office, and we came up with 3 ways that project could kind of get fucked. Would you like me to go through the 3 things that our office found out? I'm offering an asset. This guy's a Silicon Valley venture capitalist. He has bean counters and number crunchers from high heaven all around him all day long. He's got about 5 or 6 people around him, and they're now looking at me. All right. This guy's quite tall. Not big, but he's quite tall. And he looks at me and he looks at these other guys and he went, tell me then, how could this thing get fucked up? And I went, actually, funny enough, number one, we came up with this. And we saw this, but we thought if you did this, maybe you could move away from that problem. Maybe that problem wouldn't end up becoming a problem. Number two, we thought, well, this could be a hurdle if you didn't do this, this, and this. We did that. And number three, we found out that some indigenous nation in the middle of where the fuck are we was offended by your color code. Literally, it was a reach. But we came out with this thing. And he looked at me. And he looked at his floaters. And he looked back at me. And he started laughing. And then all of a sudden, all of his little cronies around him started laughing. So now I'm at a party. I'm wearing my dressed up in my tux. So I'm looking like a penguin. And this guy's looking at me. He's the main focus of the event. He's laughing at me. All of his cronies are laughing at me. I've got my old fashioned in my hand. And I'm thinking, all right, this didn't go to plan. Not everything does. And I turn around to walk away and get another old fashioned before I go home. This didn't work. As I turn around, he puts his hand on my shoulder. Now, you know I don't like going out. You know I don't like people. And now this guy's touching me. So I look around to him and I'm thinking, this has got to change quick before it gets ugly because you're now touching me. And I look at him and probably not the most friendliest, takes his hand off my shoulder and he said, please, 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 don't get offended. But we shut that company 6 months down. 6 months ago, we shut it down. We closed it because of number two. I don't know who the fuck you are. You've only read about this on the internet, but you came up with the reason that that company would fail in your number two reason. And he turned around and he said, none of these fuckers did, and I pay them a lot. Now, all of a sudden, they weren't laughing so much. And as I stand here, he looked at me and he said, who's the scoop? I want you on a retainer, and I'm going to fire deals at you. You tell me what you think. Would you be on retainer with me for a year? 6 years I've been on a retainer with that guy. He sends me shit that I have no fucking idea what he's talking about. And I go back to him and I go, look, if you can't explain it to me, how are you going to explain it to an investor? You know, what does that bit mean? There's an old saying, if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, you can't explain it.
Yeah.
And so I am the stopgap between him raising millions of dollars on his projects. And I've been with him for 6 years now, just get a regular check. And every now and then I go up to Fremont, Silicon Valley, and still, not all of them, but there's still a couple of those floaters still there. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Fuck you. See you in a minute. You know, as I wander into the chairman's office. So it's funny how you've got to focus on being an asset and not an invoice.
What a story, man. And I'm sure you got plenty more. Mate, there's a couple of questions I want to get done before we wrap up. Who's 3 people that you haven't met that you would like to meet, past or present? What question would you ask them?
Jesus, how did you keep it focused? You know, people are shits. People will always backstab, literally. Really? How did you keep it together? So I'd like to have a conversation with him. Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. What
was going on? Yeah. You know, what really happened? You know, the last one may make you giggle a little bit. Hitler.
I'm obsessed with his ways of thinking. I've watched documentaries on him. He fascinates me.
I don't understand why a short, brunette Austrian was trying to breed a master race of tall, blonde Germans that sooner or later would turn around and go, well, you ain't. You know, it made no sense.
Yeah.
I would like to literally walk up to Hitler and go, what were you so scared of? What petrified you to do so much carnage, so much damage? What really terrified the shit out of you to do this and make a nation do this? So there you go. Those are the three people. I've had some great conversations with some of the brightest, sharpest people in the planet. I've had some tremendous conversations with bartenders, doormen. I had a really good podcast a little while ago with the number one hitman for the mafia. But I would really like to go back in time and have those three conversations with three dead people on, how do you keep it together? What really happened and what was terrifying you?
Mate, great answer. Great answer. Mate, I want to go into your books quickly. So can you take us through your first book and I guess the concept of it? What's the main takeaways? What can people learn from it? Obviously, you recommend people go grab it, of course. So Blue Fishing, the art of making things happen. What's tell us about it.
I wrote that. The beautiful thing, and you need to know this, I got paid to write it.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't understand. When you write a book, there are two reasons you do it. One for the money, one to get paid from the book. If I needed to write a book to get paid, then you start working on the triggers and the problems of today that would make people want to buy the book.
Yeah.
Because I got paid, I could write the book that I wanted to write with no fear whether or not it's sold or not. I could make my statements. And I'm like, why do people not do this? Why do people ignore the basics? These are the three basics that I worked with Elton John. This is how I did this with Elon Musk. This is how I made a fortune. This is how I launched this and became the real life Wizard of Oz. Why aren't you doing this shit? I could write it in a tone that I wanted to write. And I'm telling you, when I released it, I thought to myself, well, that was it. I'll probably sell 3 copies and 2 of those will be me mum. I really didn't think it would take off. And people were like, I never thought of that. Why not? It's simple. I guarantee you, you buy Blue Fishing, it will be the most annoying book you've ever read because you'll realize that you have avoided doing the basic stuff that works. So that was Blue Fishing. That came out, nearly 8 years ago.
Yep.
And then when COVID came across, and I actually said, I'm never writing a book again. I did the audio of that book as well. And I said, I'm never doing a book again. I'm a one and done. I'm an author. I'm a bestseller. Good for me. Great. Brilliant. Brushed my ego. Never doing it again. And then COVID came across. And I didn't think people could piss me off as much as they do. But my God, they took it to a new level. Do you remember that during COVID, how many people were screaming, I can't get out and connect. I can't meet people. I can't have conversations, when they weren't having conversations before COVID. And all those pricks going, I can't go to work. What can I binge watch on Netflix? How can I possibly waste my life? Well, here was the funny thing. On my phone, I have a hit list. And on that, whenever I hear about someone that I've not met, I put their name on that list. And I go, right, one day I'm going to have a conversation with that person. I had 60 people on that list, from CEOs, rock stars, literally rocket scientists and an astronaut, Olympians. I had people on there that I'd always wanted to have a conversation with. Now, what could you guarantee during COVID? You could guarantee that I'm at home and so are you.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get the secretary going, oh, he's in a business meeting in Tokyo. Oh, they're training for the Olympics. Oh, they're in a recording studio. I couldn't get any of that shit because I knew your ass was at home.
Yeah.
Within 4 months, I had meaningful conversation. Well, I'd say most of them, sadly, 2 of them had died and I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
But in 4 months, my list was done.
Wow.
I was making a new list. BBC, the British Broadcasting Company in America, in the UK, came out with a report that during COVID, the worst period of our life, the only time that there has actually been a plague that's affected the entire planet, during the worst 2 years of our life in history, there were over 5 million new registered millionaires.
Wow.
Over 5 million people went, hey, this is an opportunity. This is a great time. I knew that I loved my family, but I didn't know how much I liked them. I got to spend every day. I wasn't flying. I wasn't traveling. I was there next to my family having breakfast. I still do that now. I don't do shit before 10:30. I will literally wake up, cuddle the wife and have breakfast, walk the dogs. Don't call me before 10:30. I've got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's the focus. People wasted their time. Me, I saw it as a glaring opportunity. During that time, I was getting so aggravated with people, I started doing very negative, rude memes on Instagram. I don't overthink shit that I post. I think about it, I post it.
Yeah.
And people were saying, why don't you write a book on this? So I wrote the book, Go for Stupid. And it focuses on how you need stupid goals to achieve them, how you need to increase your standards, how the greatest people in the planet were mocked and laughed at. So be mocked and laughed at because you're in a good circle. So that's what I focused on. And I actually released Go for Stupid last October. I was really chuffed because we released it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by 11 o'clock in the morning, it was a bestseller.
Well
and
done.
I was like, holy shit.
Well done.
People are desperate to do something better. And that's good. Those are the people I want to work with.
Very powerful, mate. I've got a couple of minutes because I do have a call shortly after
right.
this. Mate, what I wanted to ask you this question. I'm a coach. I love coaching. It lights me up. I'm just curious, what's your focus as a coach? What do you do when you meet someone? What are you looking for to help them, and how do you help them? I know that's a broad question, but I'd just like to
my first focus is disrupt where you are, because if you're doing what you're doing and it's not getting you what you want, it's time to get you a kick and then get you reframed. Yeah. I focus on coaching to get people uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I'm there to kind of slap you, give it to you straight, and then use what I know and the people I know. This is the main thing that I think makes me different to a normal coach, is I've got a Rolodex of some pretty amazing people. So when I don't know shit, I bring one of my buddies in.
Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. That's something that aligns a lot with me, because I find a lot of coaches try to help people when they probably shouldn't. they probably aren't qualified to help them, because there's things I jump on strategy calls. That's what I've got next. And I'll say, like, up front, look, if I can't help you, I'm going to actually refer you to someone that can. So
Exactly.
I really love that answer. Mate, where can people find you? If they want to connect with you, obviously you dropped your Instagram before, but what's the best place for people to obviously go grab a book, connect with you, you can get your services, work with you, just say you're a fucking legend? Where do they find you?
Steve D. Sims. Anywhere you consume your media, I'm not going to dictate it. If you want to go to stevedsims.com, if you want to go to Steve D. Sims on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere that you consume your media, Steve D for dash in and 1M in Sims, I'll be there.
Legend. Last question I asked before I wrap up my guests. What's something that you're working on personally that the world doesn't get to see?
Growth. It's no point in me challenging people and getting them uncomfortable if I'm not willing to do it. So I'm constantly looking for something that gets me uncomfortable in order to grow as a person.
Beautiful answer. Gents, ladies, everyone that's watching to the end of the podcast, thank you so much. Go check out Steve's stuff. Steve, thank you for your time, mate. This has been a fucking awesome conversation.
Thanks, pal. See you soon.